Go ahead, what?
Mr. President, can you give us a sense of what you're doing to try to de-escalate the situation between Iran and Israel?
Well, I hope there's going to be a deal. I think it's time for a deal, and we'll see what happens. But sometimes they have to fight it out, but we're going to see what happens. I think there's a good chance there'll be a deal.
Our top story this morning, and we begin with footage from earlier this morning of missiles being spotted over Tel Aviv. The fresh wave was fired from Iran as tension in the region escalates. Similar missiles were observed over Jerusalem as both sides exchange fire. So that's just happened in the last couple of hours or so. These pictures are coming in from the Israeli Emergency Services in Haifa, where fires have broken out following the latest barrage. Reports are that 2 people have been injured. Meantime, explosions have been reported in central Tehran and oil facilities which have been targeted by Israel. A US-based human rights group says hundreds of people have been killed in the latest round of fighting. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran will pay a heavy price for civilian deaths.
Israeli airstrikes have relentlessly battered Iran for 3 days, but Iran is still managing to fight back. 6 people were killed and dozens wounded when this apartment block near Tel Aviv took a direct hit. They were still pulling people out of the wreckage many hours later.
So we're currently, after about 20 hours of working on the site, trying to put together an intelligence picture to understand who was in which apartment, who wasn't home. We've gathered a lot of intelligence and put together a picture to try to figure out who we're looking for, where we should be looking for, specifically in the building that collapsed. We've extracted a few casualties up to now.
The Israeli military says that 80 ballistic missiles were fired at Israel throughout Saturday night. Millions spent a third night sheltering in safe rooms.
These are the neighbouring streets, and even though they didn't take a direct hit, look at the damage on the buildings. I mean, the shutters completely blown in, windows blown in, and then if you look down here, we can't go any further because the recovery operation is going on. The damage is immense down there, and you can really see why there were so many dozens of injuries here and 6 people killed in the building where the missile hit directly.
Benjamin Netanyahu visited the site and warned that Iran would pay a heavy price for civilian casualties. And Israel's President Isaac Herzog called on the country's allies to stand by them.
And I call upon the leaders of the G7 who will convene tomorrow in Canada. They should all be with us.
Israel has shot down dozens of drones launched from Iran over the past 24 hours. Iran's foreign minister says his country is acting in self-defense.
Self-defense
is a recognized principle in international relations. It is the legitimate right of every country to defend itself against aggression. And this is exactly what our armed forces began doing 2 nights ago. Last night, you witnessed new dimensions of this response, and it will continue.
Israeli jets have been striking the capital, Tehran, throughout the 3rd day of this war. Iranian civilians have also been killed in the bombardment. This missile struck next to a shopping centre in the city of Isfahan. And the operation has been expanded. A refuelling plane was hit far in the east of the country. Oil depots and gas refineries have also been struck. Huge fires burnt long into the night as Iran's critical national infrastructure and major source of economy is now being targeted. This is also an attempt to disrupt Iran's fuel supplies to limit their ability to launch missiles at Israel. This afternoon, there was a rare daytime missile attack on Israel.
I've seen one interceptor missile very far in the distance, just a trailing smoke.
There were no reports of impacts or injuries this time. The Israeli government has extended emergency measures across the country until the end of the month. The airport is expected to remain closed for the foreseeable. They're preparing for the war to last many more weeks. Alistair Bunkle, Sky News in Tel Aviv.